That breaking news alert comes from Washington, where the House Ethics Committee has now voted to investigate Congresswoman Corrine Brown.
In just a moment, News4JAX political analyst Jennifer Carroll will join us live. First, let's get to Channel 4's Jim Pickett. He's at Congresswoman Brown's headquarters with a look at what this committee will be digging into. Jim.
You know, this is her office right here downtown. I tried to go inside because we understand that the Congresswoman at least is coming to Jacksonville area today if she's not already here. But they wouldn't allow us inside. They said, nope, they're not taking any visitors at all today because we were trying to get comment, of course, from the Congresswoman on this. But here's what we know so far. The Congressional Committee, they voted to investigate Congresswoman Brown. They voted on that today. Their statement, though, that they issued about this is somewhat vague. So I want to go over some of the details with you on that, what they're going to be looking at. It's the improper conduct related to charitable or to outside organizations. They're also going to be looking in including that she may have conspired with others in fraudulent activity. They went on to say that they improperly, or she might have improperly solicited charitable donations, used campaign funds for personal purposes, used official resources for not official purposes, and failed to comply with tax laws and made false statements, not disclosed information to the House of Representatives or to the Federal Elections Commission. Now, these are just what they're going to look at. These are not things that they say that exactly happened. So they voted to investigate this to see if it happened, but they also voted to delay this investigation. And that was at the request of the Department of Justice. And really the one thing that you can infer from all of that is that the department is still conducting its investigation. And as I said, of course, we reached out to the Congresswoman today. I actually called her office a bit earlier to see what had happened, to see if there was going to be any comment regarding some other issues as well. But so far, we've not heard back from them yet. Scott Johnson, my colleague, did call her up, and she did pick up her cell phone and said no comment to at least to this investigation, which when it's going to be underway, but at what time, we don't know when. We're live downtown. Jim Pickett, Channel 4, the local station.
Thank you, Jim. Joining us now on the phone to offer some perspective on this development is Channel 4's political analyst, Jennifer Carroll.
Jennifer, thanks for joining us. What do you make of this development?
Well, Tom and Joy, what's going on here is a parallel investigation. So the House Ethics Committee have voted to establish an investigative subcommittee to look into the actions of Congresswoman Corrine Brown. And usually the House Ethics Committee take action because a complaint have come about, whether it's anonymous or whether it's somebody that has stated their actual name. So in conjunction, the DOJ was already doing their investigation. The DOJ's investigation could result in criminal charges, where a House Ethics Committee could result in civil charges. So the two working in parallel could conflict and injure the investigation for DOJ. So DOJ has asked the House Ethics Committee to hold off for right now. We defer it. Let us finish our investigation, and if there is any criminal actions that we've found to be in penalty, that we will refer either an indictment or other charges to be brought up on Congresswoman Brown. So the House Ethics Committee says right now that we will hold off, but they don't have to hold off forever. They can pick up this investigation a year from now, months from now.
This committee, Jennifer, as you know, is the only committee in the U.S. House whose membership is evenly divided between Republicans and Democrats. What kind of power does the panel have?
The power the panel has would be to impose a fine, a fee, or they can't force the Congresswoman to resign. What is more challenging for her is if the Department of Justice in its investigation find that there have been criminal activity that's occurred between the Congresswoman and whoever else they're investigating, and recommend that she gets indicted, which she'll then have to go through a jury trial or even plea out from that guilt, thereby making it very problematic for her to still serve in the Congress. If the House Ethics Committee recommend a fine or a slap on the hand, she can still serve without having the recourse as with the DOJ having findings of criminal activity.
Jennifer, we already know how serious this situation is with the Department of Justice wanting to talk about this and wanting to investigate. How often does this committee conduct an investigation like this?
Usually the committee conducts investigation, as I mentioned, when someone files a complaint. And a complaint could be done by anyone. It could be anonymous, or it could be with the person's name publicly released as to who is filing the complaint. Once a complaint is made, the House Ethics Committee have a responsibility to then look into that complaint. And that's probably what has happened with Congresswoman Brown. But as I said, if the House Ethics Committee find any wrongdoing, most that will result in it is a civil fine or so, nothing really that's substantial to make her step out of office.
But this is not something that happens often.
It does. I mean, more often than you think. Because it doesn't have to be real or actual for the House Committee to get a complaint on anyone. It could be a disgruntled constituent or disgruntled person out there to just file a complaint with the Ethics Committee, and they can investigate. Michelle Bachmann had an investigation. Charlie Rangel had an investigation. Tim Geithner. So it goes on, but usually it doesn't raise to the heightened awareness of what we're seeing now with Congresswoman Brown.
All right. Jennifer Carroll, our political analyst, thanks so much for your insight.
Thank you.
To recap this breaking news, the House Ethics Committee has chosen a subcommittee to investigate Congresswoman Brown. They will look into whether she violated any law, rule, or regulation in soliciting charitable donations, misuse of campaign funds, or using official resources for unofficial business. We called Congresswoman Brown this afternoon. She told us that she has no comment. If you want to see which members of Congress are on that subcommittee, we have their names for you on news4jax.com and the News4Jax app.